afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our very first UDAT Lunch and Learn. I'm really excited to get to lead the hosting for the very first one, and I think we're going to have a great time today. And chances are it probably won't last all 30 minutes, but we'll see. So our agenda for today is going to be who is the UDAT team, the technology explorers, and a bit of basic assistive technology 101. So to get us started, I'm going to turn it over to Shelly so she can introduce herself.
Okay, good morning. I'm Shelley Brown. I'm the Provider Relations Lead who works specifically with the Universal Design and our service of environmental accessibility adaption. I have some previous experience with the state. I've been around here for a long time. So all that experience is really helping play into the role of trying to solidify and create a program that is going to be more ease and more benefit to those we serve. So as you can see, some of the things that we have been working on and will continue to work on is some collaborations, ease and accessibility and information, and then of course the development of systems and processes to help ensure the integrity of the program. So you'll be hearing a little bit more on that side of it in the next month.
Wonderful. Thanks, Shelly. I'm Holly Reif, the Provider Relations Specialist for Assistive Technology. I'm really here to just kind of help make a little bit more sense of our assistive technology services and supports, hopefully onboard some new providers and improve our utilization of the service. Jason?
Hello, I'm Jason Elmore. I'm the vendor service coordinator for our EAA providers. I've been with the DMH for going on 10 years this year, but I've been in the field for quite a bit, even working with the day program providers and things like that in the past. And just helping develop a lot of the tools that are necessary for the processes and requirements for our service, and just here to provide technical assistance to providers and even the support coordinators as they need it. So
Wonderful. Thank you, Jason. So what does the UDAT team do? Well, our main purpose is to promote, educate, and increase capacity in our services of EAA and AT. So EAA, environmental adaptations. Also, we all call them home mods. So EAA is home modification. It also includes some vehicle modification. And as Shelly said, we're going to flip-flop. So one month it's going to be all about AT during our lunch and learn. The next month it's going to be all about that universal design and EAA. So be on the lookout for those. They will go back and forth. We also will be providing consultation and technical assistance to providers, support coordinators, and any division staff who needs a little help in understanding how these two services work. We have noticed that these two services can promote a lot of independence, but aren't always tapped into a lot. So we're hoping that as we increase provider capacity, we can also increase the utilization of these services. We will be hosting these lunch and learns through February of 2023. And of course, if you have any questions, you can hit us up at our email down there, technology first and universal design at dmh.mo.gov. So next agenda topic is our technology explorers. I am very excited about this program. The hypothesis for this program is that does education and support from fellow support coordinators increase utilization of technology supports and technology services? We know that technology increases independence, so we want to figure out a way how we can get technology into people's hands more often. So we are partnering with Shift. Shift is a national technology education and training platform, and they offer accreditation for support coordinators, direct care professionals, agencies, professional managers, and upper level management. Their accreditation program for support coordinators is called a Navigator. And we had 21 support coordinators and one self-directed service coordinator submit applications and requests to have this navigation service accreditation so that they could help promote technology. They come from the areas of Kansas City, Central Missouri, Springfield, and St. Louis. So the technology explorers are the navigators. So the navigators are going to be leading a monthly meeting to support fellow support coordinators. This monthly meeting will only be for support coordinators who have questions or need coaching and support around assistive technology. The first of these meetings will be August 17th, as our navigators are still working through their accreditation process at this time. The meetings will be held the third Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. To submit a question for discussion during the meeting, please submit it to our UDAT email that we talked about in the previous slide by 5 p.m. the third Monday of the month. So for August, what that will look like is if you need a question or you have a coaching or you're not quite sure how to word something in the ISP or outcome, have that submitted by the 15th, August 15th at 5 p.m. And then that will be on the agenda for the August 17th meeting. When you have a question to submit for that, please use that UDAT email and in the subject line, put the words for exploration. Jason mans that whole email box for the UDAT team, and he'll know when he sees that for exploration title that those just come straight to me, and that way they won't be missed. The meetings are 55 minutes long. They're blocked off for an hour on your calendar, but they're 55 minutes long so that people have a chance to catch breaths in between meetings. If there is time, say we only have a few topics for that meeting, we will open the floor for open discussion. So getting into what is the basics of assistive technology. In a nutshell, it's a device, product, engineered solution. It can be commercially made, it can be modified or customized for a person and to meet their specific needs. The division recently revised the assistive technology definition in order to get more of the nuance of what technology can be. And it can be low tech or very high tech. It usually includes a direct benefit for the individual. It includes maintaining independence, increasing functional capacities, vocational skills, and even community involvement, such as using technology to help support with employment or grocery shopping or transportation. Remote supports and remote monitoring can assist an individual become fully integrated into their community, have independence and privacy in their home, and avoid isolation. As a technology-first state, the planning team should always consider technology solutions to meet a person's need before considering in-person supports. Assistive technology is now part of every person's daily lives, and it has the means to improve independence, vocational skills, community involvement. It mitigates isolation and improves overall life satisfaction. So while we take our technology for granted every day, it's really important that we look at technology to improve the lives of the individuals we support and help them achieve their most sought after outcomes. So when looking at planning activities, here are some topics that really need to be looked at to be included in the ISP and be discussed at the planning team meetings so that there is a consensus of how the technology will work for the person. One of the first things we need to look at is how the individual understands the use of technology. Are they already comfortable? Do they already have a smartphone that they use on a regular basis? Can they use a tablet? Are they at ease with learning how to use a new application? What information might be needed for them to choose whether they want a remote service or an in-person support? Do they know the difference between those two? How are privacy protections being put in place? And is that documented in the ISP? Support coordinators and providers need to share the responsibility to ensure that the systems that we are putting in place to support the person are not also disrupting their privacy and other rights restrictions. The ISP should document all backup support plans. For remote supports, our backup plan requires an in-person support to be available within 20 minutes, so that if the individual who's using remote supports has an emergency and they need physical assistance, they can have that within 20 minutes of requesting it, whether that's through the sensors and an alert is provided, or whether it's through their own two-way communication. And then the other part, we really need to think about who's going to be looking at this. If it's a dashboard, how is that dashboard going to be set up? Who's going to have access to that? So there's a lot of just basic things to think about that might be a little new in our world. All technology promotes independence and self-reliance. AT builds confidence and decreases people's reliance on paid staff or activities in the home and community. And while these things might be new, we are trying to work through the UDAT team to provide additional resources and trainings, and these lunch and learns are just the beginning. So in the new definition for assistive technology, we broke the assistive technology out into 4 components. So those 4 components are consultation, equipment, service delivery, and support. And I'm going to take a little bit of time to go through what each one of these means. And then I'm going to kind of go through in a few slides who can actually do these things, because consultation and support now require a different kind of professional than before. So consultation is an evaluation of assistive technology of the individuals. It can include a functional evaluation to address what technologies might be available to support the outcome. It is only 1 per year. There might be an exception that you could do if the individual's used one technology and has succeeded or not succeeded, and now we'd like to try something new. So there are some exceptions, but keep in mind that it should only be 1 a year. Equipment is the lease, purchase, or warranty. So this equipment could be a PERS system, which is a personal emergency response system. Think the emergency call button when someone's fallen, or they're like a panic button. A mobile emergency response system, PERS and MERS. Medication reminder systems. So we do have some medication dispensers and equipment that can help support medication. It also includes any of the remote support systems. So any of the sensors or monitors, radio frequency identification, two-way communication. So if they need a tablet, one of the things we've seen a lot of is people liking to purchase a tablet through their waiver so they can have access to some of the MeMinder apps, or apps to help them progress through their day without a direct care professional reminding them to constantly do things. That tablet would go under the equipment service for assistive technology. Service delivery is the monthly implementation. So if that person has an application that is a monthly cost, it would go under the service delivery. And then support. Support is education and training. This goes beyond the initial setup of the equipment and the service or the application. It's really more for ensuring the individual knows how to use their equipment, and their staff and support members know how to use the equipment. Because if no one knows how to use it, it's just going to sit on the shelf. And that's definitely not what we're going for here. So because we have 4 new components, we have 4 new codes. So that consultation piece will be under the AUA modifier, equipment under UB, service delivery under UC, and support under U9. as you can see, all of the service codes have a root code of A9999. That was the old assistive technology code. One of the reasons why we designed modifiers for them is so that we can track and pull data on which kind of assistive technology services are being used the most often, where, who's using them, so we can gather good data to see where we might need more support and training around assistive technology. Remote supports has the GT modifier. And the reason for this is that remote supports include all 4 components of assistive technology. There is a consultation piece, an equipment, a service delivery, and a support. The support is provided often by the technology provider themselves. So, as promised, because we have a new consultation, it requires a different level of professional. So, who can do a consultation for equipment and equipment services? Well, your navigators will all be accredited to do that. Missouri Assistive Technology can also help, but an OT, PT, a speech language pathology, or an assistive technology professional. And here's that, see that certified RITS? That RITS stands for Rehabilitation, Engineering, and Assistive Technology Society of North America. They could also have a bachelor's degree with an assistive technology accreditation, such as SHIFT. There are some college programs now that do offer assistive technology, so that's very exciting. It could also be an employee of the technology provider who has been employed for at least 1 year and has a bachelor's degree. And as stated before, the support's probably going to come from the technology provider. That's going to be part of their responsibility to ensure that they're supporting the individual. Okay, that was a lot of information. So we can take a breath for a second here. All right. The waiver cap for assistive technology is $9,000 a year, and all 4 components should fit into that cap. Now, we recognize that remote support services often go over that cap, and an exception to the cap can be requested. When talking about remote supports in that cap, it includes the response center as well. So if you have a technology provider who offers that response center, you'll want to ensure that you're adding in their costs for that. And if you're working with a technology provider who doesn't have a response center, but the community provider is going to be providing that support, please get with your provider relations person if that community provider has not done remote supports yet, and we will help a lot. But the GT, A999 GT, would also be part of that community provider service because they're the ones providing that remote support center. So we do want to see that there's a decrease in in-person supports as you move forward with technology. All right. So that actually concludes our Lunch and Learn for today. Like I promised, wasn't going to take the full 30 minutes, but that was a lot of information. So please go back to where the postings for the webinar can be found later. That website is here. I'm sure Kat will put it in the chat box for us. Revisit what you can. Remember, UDAT is here to help you with any sort of technology, EAA, or universal design needs. Our next Lunch and Learn will be April 12th at noon, and Shelley's going to cover some basics of universal design during that one. Thank you guys so much and have a great afternoon.